Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us with Breaking Down the Barriers. I'm Terry Russell, your host for today. And our guest today is Crystal Finke. She's the Director of Clinic Operations with Access Healthcare.
Hi, Terry. Thank you so much for having me.
It is an absolute pleasure. I'm glad that you had time to be able to come and
Thank you for
share
inviting
with
me.
us.
Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much. I appreciate it.
So please tell us about Access Healthcare.
Yes, ma'am. So we are actually a nonprofit organization. We are a 501c3, very new to the community. We actually opened our doors at the end of February, so not a whole lot of people have heard about us yet. But we basically provide free health care for those that are in need. So we actually reach out to anyone who is uninsured or underserved in the community, and they are able to walk into our clinics, and we provide health care at no cost, no questions asked.
Where are you located?
We actually have 2 locations currently. We are a mobile clinic, so we're just 2 Saturdays a month at this moment. However, we're growing, so that's the good news. But literally, we pack everything up into our cars, and we go, and we unpack, and we host clinic, and then we leave. So right now, we have 2 different locations that have opened their doors to us. One is the Austin Hindu Temple, and the other one is the North Austin Muslim Community Center. And we are expanding from there. So we are looking to get some different locations and to continue our expansion.
Oh, that is like amazing.
Isn't that wonderful? It is amazing. It is just an amazing thing. And Austin, people don't realize how many uninsured individuals we have here in the city. We actually are higher than the national rate.
And you have numbers?
I believe it was 15% for Austin, and it's like 12.8% for the nation.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that, but
I won't quote you, but just a roundabout figure.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we're a little bit higher than the nation as a whole. So that's actually, it's a high need area, and I don't think a lot of people actually realize that we do have that need in our city, but we do. And so we reach out to anybody who needs healthcare can come in and be seen by a doctor.
So let me ask you this, because I hadn't heard of your organization until we had the planning meeting for the reason you're here.
Yes, ma'am.
Take a Loved One for a Checkup Day, and I know your organization is going to be participating.
We are.
Providing screenings at this event, and I hadn't heard of your company prior to that. So how do people know to get to you all?
Well, that's a really good question. Right now, it's word of mouth. So we are working on expanding and getting our name out there more and more. The more we do and the more people that we are touching in the community and providing healthcare for, the more our popularity is growing. So that's a really amazing thing, is that the more people we see, the more people come. So they tell other people about us and other individuals, and then those people come, and so on and so forth. So, and collaborating as well with other individuals, with other organizations in the community. We collaborate with them, and we try to provide care and provide screenings for events such as the Bring a Loved One Day. And this also helps us to get our name out there and to really touch people. Our ultimate goal is to help people. So as many people as we can help, that's our goal.
I think that this collaboration is actually going to really put your name out there, because I know that there were a ton of people last year, so hopefully the event will be as well received this year. I know it's the 10th anniversary of the Take a Loved One for a Checkup Day, so we assume that we are going to be able to see more people participate.
Yes, ma'am.
Especially since they know this at the Delco Center and they don't have to do it outside.
Exactly, I agree. And I think this is just a beautiful event in general, just the idea, and everyone that's involved with it is just purely there for helping others.
So what type of services do you all provide? What medical services
Currently,
you provide?
we are limited currently because we are new, but we do provide preventative care mainly. However, we do see quite a few sick patients. So we deal with a lot of chronic diseases that you wouldn't expect. So we deal with a lot of patients who have diabetes, hypertension, uncontrolled hypertension at that, and different illnesses as such. And then our physicians try to help to manage that for them. And then we also, if necessary, we help to get them the proper resources that may be necessary or required to get them the health care that they need. So if we're unable to provide something, we always try to provide resources for those patients. However, we have done a lot as far as our growth goes. We currently have an arrangement with a laboratory, so we're able to send patients at a very discounted rate for labs. We also are offering educational courses, so preventative Education is huge for us. We're really into that market, or that area, I should say. So we are really into teaching people how to take care of themselves and to providing the best health care that they can, and to helping themselves with preventative strategies and the importance of them as well.
I know that when me and you initially started talking, it was really important that we get information out to the community, and the
Yes, ma'am.
collaboration with the organization sponsoring Take a Loved One is called the AAQL, the African American Quality of Life Unit.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you come to work with them?
Yes, well, actually, a colleague of mine was visiting with someone and met through that way, and then we got word and invited to come to the planning meeting.
Okay.
So then I attended the planning meeting, and here we are.
I think it was
amazing.
really a good thing.
I agree 100%. This is a fantastic organization who I think does amazing work.
Do you know where they're located?
Yes, ma'am. They're actually the St. John's Community Center. It's kind of in that area right there. Back in that.
I think it's off of Blessing.
Blessing, yes, ma'am. Blessing Avenue, that is correct.
Yes.
They're in that community center, which I think is just, they do amazing work. So I'm very proud to be part.
So with that opportunity to work with them, Exodus will be able to have their name spread everywhere.
Yes, ma'am. Hopefully so. That would be nice. That would be great to have our name out there as well as a collaborating partner with them.
I think it's a pretty good idea. So what things are your organization trying to do to bring about change for healthcare in Austin? Since we're higher than the national level,
Yes, ma'am.
how are we going to try to help take those numbers down?
So we are going to help to take those numbers down in multiple ways. One thing that we really focus on is the preventative care side of things. So teaching people through educational strategies. A lot of people can manage a lot of these illnesses or prevent these illnesses based on education alone. So what I try to do is every single month our clinic hosts a particular disease that's featured with the National Health Organization. For that month, we host, for example, in May, we did Skin Cancer Awareness Month.
Okay.
So we offered sunscreens, we offered skin checks, and we also offered preventative strategies and educational materials to try to help people. So we're always doing something a little bit different like that. Each month, we try to do some sort of a feature or host for that particular illness for that month to try to make people aware. And if we can make the community aware, then I think that awareness is the first key to bringing down a lot of these illnesses that are occurring in our community.
It's just amazing that it's 2015 and people are still not aware of the fact that we need to be able to maintain our health, and those annual screenings and health checkups are to your benefit.
Absolutely. And you would be surprised, Terry, how many people just are not aware of it. I mean, they don't take the time for themselves. That's the other thing I see with a lot of our patients is they work all the time and they just don't take care of their health or take time to take care of their health. And so sometimes we have to be a little strict with them and be like, look, it's your health. You have to take care of yourself. You're extremely important and your health is extremely important. So we have to kind of lay it on the line for them that, this is the importance and why.
How many staff do you all have?
Well, currently we are a 100% volunteer clinic. So a lot of people ask me, well, what do you get out of it?
Volunteer?
Yes, ma'am. We are currently 100% volunteers. So everyone who works in our clinic does it from the bottom of their heart, which is a beautiful thing.
So you have nurses and doctors that volunteer their time?
Yes, ma'am, we sure do. So we have several different physicians that come in and they work with us at the different sites. I have a couple of pediatricians, a couple of family practitioners, and they come in and work with me. And then I have medical assistants who also come in and work with me. And then I have administrative volunteers. So all of our people are extremely good, extremely qualified, and there for the right reason. That's what makes us, I think, so unique compared to other people. We're not in it for money. We're just doing it to literally serve others and to help.
What are the hours of your clinic?
Our clinic is 10 a.m. to 3 on the 2 Saturdays that we meet each month.
Okay, and Saturdays.
Yes, ma'am. Saturdays, right now.
So 10 to 3 is good on a Saturday.
Yes, ma'am.
How do we change the misconception of medical care, not only for adults, but our children?
Yes, and I think children, it is so important. That is something I really think lacks a lot in our community, is just the focus on the children. Our children are our future. And putting into our children is what's going to help down the road to turn them into healthy adults. So I really think that focusing on child care is extremely important in our goal and mission in this whole ordeal, so in healthcare.
I think that one of the things that I notice is that when people's children are healthy, they don't take them to the doctor.
That is very true.
Because, well, my baby doesn't get sick. My baby doesn't get sick. My baby doesn't get sick. You know, after that first year, after you do the well-child checkup and everything, and you get clearance, the child may not go to the doctor again until who knows when, because some children don't get sick.
That is so true, and I think that's actually a misconception, is that children are just healthy because they're children. They're just naturally going to be healthy because they're kids, and they have a better immune system than most adults, and so on and so forth. So I think that actually is a misconception, and parents really should not only watch their children as far as screenings go and awareness and that kind of thing, but really making them aware of these different illnesses that exist and how to prevent those for their future. Because, you know, with children, as I'm sure you know, once you teach them something and it's a habit for that child, that's going to grow with them and into adulthood, and then they'll turn around and pass it on to their children someday and their grandchildren. So it's just a cycle that I think is extremely important that we have to focus on.
You know, when my children were small, I have two. They're both grown now, but my sister-in-law commented one time that I either always had my children at the doctor or at the dentist because I thought it was very important to make sure that I took care of that. You know, I looked at my son's mouth one time and I was like, ooh, I need to take care of this because this he's not going to be attractive if I don't fix his teeth.
And you know what? You are so right. I have two beautiful nieces, and I always, when they're with me, I'm like, let's brush our teeth, let's, you know, in the morning. And then it's so funny because the other day I had them overnight, and my oldest niece goes, Auntie, we're supposed to brush our teeth this morning, right? And I said, yes, that is right. Excellent job. So it's that habit built in, you know, teaching them that. Yes, ma'am. Teaching them that, and they remember it, and then it becomes a habit for them.
Is there any particular age that a parent should start encouraging their children about health care?
You know, I think that as soon as you can, you should do it. And I think that, you know, I go down to Town Lake and walk often, and I see these mothers out there running with their babies in the strollers, and I'm thinking, what an amazing thing, because you're teaching your child that habit. They may just be a baby, but you know what? They're going to learn that, and they're going to keep seeing their mom do that. So I think that's a really good behavior, and I don't think there's ever too early. Exactly, absolutely. And they see that exercise is important, you know? Walking is important and exercise is important. So I think that having that right there, even though they're babies, it's going to grow on them. And then they're going to grow up in that habit, and that's going to end up helping them in the future. So I don't think there's ever an age to really start with. I think they should start from baby on.
Just from the womb, just start being healthy.
Yep, I agree. I think just teaching them by example is amazing and very powerful.
With parents, they have so many things to do. They have so many balls to juggle, work, running errands, cooking, cleaning. How do you get them to just understand you need to take this time?
Well, that's actually a good point that you bring up, because we are seeing a huge increase in childhood obesity rates, which also is simultaneous with diabetes and, you know, hypertension in children that we just never saw before. And it's because in our society today, we are so busy. Parents work, they're tired, they come home. It's easier to order in a pizza than it is to cook a healthy meal for your child. It's easier to throw them in front of a television than it is to take them for a walk. So I think that what parents are going to have to start doing is really carving out that time and teaching, you know, take 30 minutes in that evening time and take your child on a walk, you know, tell them, hey, let's go ride our bike, or let's go walk, or take them to the park, you know, on the weekends, take them to do activities, get them out of the house and teach them activities. You know, children, they don't play like today. Like when we were kids growing up, I remember we were always outside playing, you know.
Absolutely.
And today it seems like it's all about TV and the you know, Nintendo, no, they don't call it Nintendo anymore, but you know, PlayStation, thank you.
Or Xbox.
PlayStation or Xbox, exactly, exactly. And that's the entertainment, you know. So they don't have that, you know, let's go outside and play sports with our buddies down the street. You know, they don't have that sense anymore of doing all that. So I think that that's really important that kids get out and they see that side as well. And
it's amazing that we got away from putting our kids outside.
And you know, there's many reasons for it. Some of it has been a safety. I know some of it is safety issues, but parents can watch them. You know, you can sit outside and watch your kids play if you want.
Absolutely.
And you know,
we need
or
to remember that. We can't keep them sheltered forever.
I agree. I agree. And we want to, you know, we love them, and that's important, but you can always watch them, like you said.
So we know that this lifestyle is bad on our children, and we also know that when Mrs. Obama's husband took office,
yes, ma'am,
she came up with the program Let's Move,
yes,
trying to incorporate that healthy lifestyle into her platform as a first lady. Do you all even mention that type of thing to your patients when they come in?
Absolutely. I actually love her platform on that. I think it's brilliant, and I think she's done an amazing job to focus on our youth. I think that's extremely important, and I think that that was something that was seriously lacking in our nation, is the focus on the children. And we do try to do that. So with the children, we do try to encourage the children, encourage the parents, teach the parents. We're actually going to be rolling out a nutritional course for adults here shortly in our clinic. So every clinic day that we meet, we'll host a nutritional course as well. With a focus, eventually we'll focus on diabetes and other things like that. But right now we're going to do basic nutrition.
So what does that entail? Will you be cooking a meal, or
we'll be teaching them how to read. We'll be teaching them more how to read labels.
Okay.
The importance of it, what these ingredients mean, which ones you want to avoid. Give them sample meals of how to keep yourself healthy, the importance of exercise, and just kind of how the body works on a cellular level at different ways that our body comes together to work, and our organs, and how important it is just to take care of ourselves as a whole. And then what I would like to do is eventually start a program for children. Maybe one that we either do an exercise program, or that we teach them this is important and the importance of it. So eventually I would like to take that nutrition course in the future and turn it into a child-focused nutritional course, so that they understand it as well as the parents.
Are you hoping to eventually have a permanent location?
Yes, ma'am, we are. We are hoping to eventually have a permanent location, and hopefully a wellness center at some point. So that's the ultimate goal.
Good.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How many people do you hope to see at Take a Loved One?
I hope to see as many as can come out. I'll be honest with you, we are not going to limit. The more, the better for us. So the more people I can see, the happier I'm going to be.
How many tables do you have? You have about 3 or 4 tables?
I believe we do, yes.
Good.
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Good,
So we have a couple
good.
of tables I think that we're going to have, and then we're going to be hosting the screenings, and then if they need to see a physician, we are going to be collaborating to hopefully get that done as well.
So what screenings are you going to offer that day?
We'll offer glucose screenings, so we'll do blood. We can do the glucose checks, we can do hypertension checks, amongst other things, and potentially EKGs. So because a lot of children nowadays, I guess as you've probably heard in the school district, unfortunately these children are falling out on sports fields from heart conditions that just weren't seen in advance. So I think it's really important to focus on the heart as well with these children.
I've actually seen children who want to go out for sports. They come to middle school, they've been sedentary, they go to 7th grade, they start trying to participate in athletics, and they're really not able to do it right away because they're not healthy.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily mean overweight. I mean not healthy.
I agree 100%, because overweight does not mean not healthy per se. So
That's right. It does not.
And so you're absolutely right. There are children that are very thin that fall out on football fields, and they're athletic children. I mean, they're exercise, and that goes back to parents not thinking just, oh, because my kid's a kid, they're healthy. Never wanting to think or take their child to the doctor to perform those preventative strategies that could have caught that in time to prevent that child's injury or death. Unfortunately, those types of unfortunate situations that happen, we just don't think about them because they're children. You just automatically assume children are healthy. Let's put them on a football field, they'll be okay.
It's an assumption that is very poor, because every child you see out there running and jumping is not healthy.
Nope.
And they may need some attention.
I agree.
We know we have Obamacare now, so affordable health care. When people come in to see you all, if they don't have any health care, do you all encourage them to go to the website to see if there's anything that can
We
be
will
there
if
for
they
them?
ask for that.
If they ask.
Yes, ma'am. So if they ask and they show interest that they really need to get some sort of steady health care, we do. We also try to connect them with physicians in the community that are willing to see them at discounted rates if they need that kind of care that needs to be a constant attention, because we are seeing so many people with chronic illnesses. We often have to refer them to a primary care physician that can follow them and follow their health care. If that's the scenario and that's the case, we try to collaborate with other physicians in the community to try to help to get them that care that they need.
I think it's something that concerns me often. There are so many people that use the emergency room as their doctor's office.
Hence why our healthcare costs are driven through the roof.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. That's why our nation is in the situation we're in. because people often just take their child to the emergency room because they think it's, like you said, a doctor's office, and it's there for emergent situations. And I really think people have got to really stop doing that, because that's what's driving our healthcare costs through the roof. At this point, it is actually a crisis in our nation, and it's a national problem to drive those healthcare costs through the roof. And people don't realize that, and they think, oh, my kid's got a sore throat, let me just take him to the ER. Well, no, that's not the proper protocol for that.
And it makes no sense.
It makes no sense. I agree 100%. Because, you're taking time away, too, from children or people in general in the emergency room that really need that help,
Right.
that are truly emergent situations and what the emergency room exists for. So it's unfortunate because, you're taking that time away that physician could be giving to another person who really needs that attention.
It's amazing. It's just totally amazing. I keep thinking about the fact that we are in this new millennium, and people it's just different. And you mentioned, that we used to play outside. And like I said, with 2 children, I made them play outside.
Absolutely. I make my nieces do the same.
And I would sit right there, and I had big windows.
Yes, ma'am.
So I could see my kids right there in front of the house. In the yard, it was big enough. We didn't have to worry about anything. And I knew that they were getting some form of exercise, but they were also out of my hair.
Exactly.
For
You're
a
like,
few
at the same
minutes.
time.
At the same time.
Exactly. And I think with parents being so, work is becoming more and more mobile. So what a lot of parents don't realize is they could take their laptop outside and sit in a lawn chair and watch their kids play.
Absolutely.
And get work done while they're watching their kids to ensure their safety. So it's not necessarily a one or the other. I think like you mentioned, you watch through the window. I think that's a great idea. I mean, a lot of parents can do that and still get work accomplished while they're watching their kids play.
Absolutely.
So they're encouraging that playtime as well.
That makes a difference. It makes a difference. Our parents don't realize that.
No, ma'am.
We need to really think about our lifestyles. Even if you're not going to watch them,
correct,
why don't you go play with them?
Exactly.
Give yourself an opportunity. Yes.
Absolutely.
Just go for a walk with your kids.
Exactly. I think if everybody did that in the evening times after school, just carved out that 30 minutes of time to do that with their children, we would see a drastic change in our future of our children.
It's also a pretty good time to spend that family time together.
Absolutely. It's extremely important to have that family time. And I think that's lacking a lot too. Oh, of course.
With a sound mind.
Yes, ma'am.
A sound mind, sound body.
And that open communication. I think that everybody today, it just seems like in society today, everybody's so tired that kids get home, they eat in front of the TV. It's not like, you don't have that one-on-one time with your parents the way you used to growing up. Like we should be talking to our children. Let them talk to us. Listen to your children. Have that open communication. And once you have that, that's when parents start to see if a child is going down the wrong path, needs to be stopped, maybe not doing so good in school, and they can get them the help that they need by listening to their children. And I think that's most important.
Sadly, me and my son, he's still with me. My daughter moved. We eat together, but we eat in front of the TV.
Yes.
But I still prefer us to be able to communicate.
Absolutely.
Than not to communicate.
And that's so important,
It's
Terry.
just sometimes, the location might not be perfect.
Absolutely.
But just spending that time, and I don't think parents realize that.
I agree 100%. And I think that's what maybe people focus on too much of the formality. Like we need to be at the dining room table one-on-one. And that's great if you can do that. But like you said, maybe he talks to you better in front of the TV, and that's fine too. Maybe that's his form of communication, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as that communication's occurring.
Well, I'm obviously not allowed to do too much talking, but I do get to come in the living room.
I understand.
So I think Exodus is going to be a real boom for the city of Austin.
Thank you.
I hope that you
That's our goal.
Are able to find more space.
Me as well. We are looking to expand, and we are really, really hoping to get more locations and basically ultimately get our wellness center that we hope for, so that we can continue to serve the community at a higher level and a more efficient level, and more hours in the day. So that's the good part.
How are you at both locations on a Saturday?
One Saturday here, one Saturday there. Two Saturdays a month.
Oh, I was like, bless your heart. What do you do?
I sometimes wish I could replicate myself, but I just can't. I can't clone myself yet. So
I think but what you're doing though is a benefit. It's a benefit.
It's wonderful. And our volunteers, we are just so lucky to have such an amazing staff. I couldn't do any of this without our board and our volunteers. They're just amazing. So
Maybe
It's
some
just,
of our African American churches will volunteer some
would
space.
love to have them. Would love to
I
have them on
think
board.
that after we play this on KZI and
Yes,
on
ma'am.
Channel 22, we can start reaching out.
I
Maybe
agree.
somebody will listen and
I would love
offer
that.
up some space. I would love to have an opportunity to see if I can help connect you to some people.
Thank you, Terry. I would appreciate that.
Well, we need it.
We do.
We
It's
need it.
very
There are
much
too
so
many
needed.
people that don't have insurance. There are too many people that are fearful
Yes.
of being able to go to the doctor. And we have people who aren't documented, who
Yep.
are not going to the doctor.
And I deal with a lot of a refugee population. You'd be very surprised how many of those are in our city right now.
Oh no, I wouldn't be surprised at all. We work very closely with
with-
our refugee
Yes.
population.
And they are, and you're right, they're absolutely scared. They come to us, and then if we have to send them to the ER, they're petrified because they think they're going to be sent back or something's going to happen. And I explain to them in this country, you go to the ER, it's okay, they will see you, they have to see you, ask for a translator, and whatever the situation is. And it's very, very sad because they come over here for a better life, and they're scared. They don't know. They don't know our system.
And we have to do better to
We
make
really
sure
do.
that we can take care of everyone that is here
Yes, ma'am.
in our city.
I agree.
And this is the best way to do it.
Healthcare has no borders. I always say that.
Not one.
That's right. And every human is a human, and we treat everyone with that exact same respect that we would want to be treated with
Respect
if we were
and
somewhere
dignity,
else.
that's what it's
Absolutely.
called for.
Absolutely, and that's 100% important. And there is, in healthcare, there's no borders, there's no limits, there's nothing,
I hope that we get a lot of people to actually come to take a loved one for
I do
a
too.
checkup day, and it's going to be on September the 19th.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
just found out. I remember, let's see, Pecan Brook Street. I don't remember the street address. I worked for the district for 17 years. I still cannot remember the name of the street because I just remember the neighborhood. I live in the neighborhood. But it's going to be at the Delco Center, and this is a collaboration with AISD, the City of Austin, and of course, you're one of the exhibitors, Exis.
Yes, ma'am.
Will be providing screening for glucose diabetes and hypertension and
ma'am.
anything else?
Potential EKGs. We're going to try to do
Potential
EKGs.
EKGs. And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
with that information, if they need to be referred to a medical physician, that will happen that day if they need to.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
That's
That's our
wonderful.
goal, along with some educational strategies. We'll have a lot of educational materials there available too. So for particular illnesses, if the glucose level is high, I'll have diabetes brochures available, and so on and so forth. So just different educational strategies will be there as well to try to educate the parents and the children as well.
Oh, well, Crystal, I think this you rock.
Thank you, Terry. You're wonderful.
This
I appreciate it.
obviously is
you
a
so
passion
much.
for you.
Yes, ma'am. Indeed.
I appreciate your time, your
Thank
opportunities.
you so much for having me today. I appreciate that.
I
And
hope they continue to grow.
yes, ma'am. And I look forward to growing with AISD. Exis and AISD can grow too together. So I think it'd be beautiful.
We've made a connection, so we're going to make sure that we figure out how to make it work for you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I
Well-
appreciate you having me here today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anything that I can do.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
This has been Breaking Down the Barriers with Terry Russell. You are welcome to join us on KZIFM.org or KZI 88.7 the first and third Monday of the month. And you're also able to catch us on Channel 22 on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 and on Sundays at 10:30 in the morning. We look forward to seeing you next time. Follow us on AISD_BDB on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. And you can check out our website at www.austinisd.org. Thank you. This is Breaking Down the Barriers. See you next time.